Civilizing America, a user's guide from the ground up. Chapter 7, Conduct Inspirational Meetings. We meet regularly with others about activities we value. So far, we have encouraged connections with others and suggested values and goals. These become a force for change with steady action behind them. To generate action, we meet regularly with others, which may require us to overcome some hesitation. About much we could ask of others. We assume they would rather do something else. We fear imposing on them, not wishing to take them from what they already want to do. But this common assumption is often wrong. Think about something you came to love and how you changed from initial indifference to being deeply involved. As you focused more on this new thing, you enjoyed it more, looked forward to it, and immersed yourself in it, and eventually described yourself in terms of its activity. Bodybuilder, sailor, quilter, and so on. A comparable change can occur upon entering a supportive group. We experience competence and satisfaction from its activities. Our results affirm our values, and we do it all because we want to. A group meeting can be a special glue, social glue generated from eons of human evolution. Discovering that we like each other, we join activities to our values. The standard meeting format of 1 to 2 hours a week can help answer 3 basic questions. What will we do? How do we support each other? And how do we welcome newcomers? 5 phases of the meeting are intended to meet 5 needs. Though leaders should remain alert to all of them, certain phases may receive more emphasis on a given occasion. People first need to connect with others, and the leader through informal means noted in Chapter 2. New people wonder, am I welcome? Facing others, they determine there are no hidden agendas to adjust to, and they can relax. They receive handshakes and greetings, share ordinary events in their lives, hear their values reflected, and affirm each other's efforts and challenges. Light observations are common in this phase. Called goblet issues, they touch on familiar experiences like weather, travel, family, and current events. Despite being light, they are important because others' responses enable people to know their place in the group. Whether they are accepted, welcomed warmly, and their ideas respected. Long-time members accomplish this phase in seconds because of their common history. For new people, others arrive before they do, greet them, and as host, give them attention. The second need is to be impressed. People hope the meeting will mean more to them than watching TV at home, and are affected quickly by their experience of it. They want a lift, an idea, a goal, entertainment, nourishing a hope, an inspiration, or an action to take. The meeting overall may do this, but setting their imagination ablaze is best done early, since the influence can color what follows. Their presence says, I'm willing to be part of this if it makes sense. So we try to make sense. We clear our throat, introduce ourselves, and explain our purpose. Why are we doing this? Discussions in small groups can help generate an impression while also meeting the next need. The meeting's impact deepens with expression. Once people make an informal bridge to others, connection, and their minds come awake, impression, they may want to offer their own ideas. Usually, however, they adopt their customary role of talking or listening. Their relationships become stronger instead by whether they believe the group engages with their ideas, which depends on whether everyone talks, so we arrange for that. We can ask everyone, please turn to the person next to you and discuss what you want from this meeting. Many questions could be timely. For a brief conversation, triads are easy to arrange without much shuffling of chairs, ensure everyone gets some talking time, and are usually diverse enough to raise interest in 5 or 10 minutes. Groups of 4 or 5 invite longer talking time, such as 20 to 30 minutes, but discussions in larger groups can be less satisfying. A few may dominate and leave many unheard unless everyone employs communication skills carefully. The 5 in Appendix 1, Perfect Conversation, were drawn from observing an effective group use them intuitively. The moderator supplies a topic related to the purpose of the meeting, and participants discuss it in the format selected. When members realize their competence affects their outcomes, they include a 4th meeting phase, skill development. Using group and individual methods, people can expand their knowledge, talk through their values, practice campaign activities, work on leadership skills, express their ideas, and learn outreach to voters. Small group discussions can help accomplish this and the 2 prior phases. An ongoing planning issue is understanding the skill development that would make the most difference for members. The meeting concludes with participants agreeing on specific responsibilities and assignments, an action to carry out. The planning team reports to the group on the priorities and assignments it has settled upon in its separate meeting, perhaps listing short-term actions anyone can perform and inviting volunteers to do them. They need not be overwhelming, even just telling someone else about the first meeting. Relevant tasks generate a proactive, can-do attitude that refreshes people even before they've developed fully as a group. A meeting design that accounts for the 5 needs above is to greet newcomers individually, make a brief presentation that welcomes, orients, and sets a direction, break into small discussion groups to address the meeting's theme, skill development, or issues relevant to the group, and conclude with discussion of planning team proposals, suggestions for action, and task assignments. The group might wait to take on large projects because it first needs to consolidate its thinking and gain members. Unaccustomed burdens may overwhelm newcomers. In urgent periods, where are we here? The group can choose planners sooner who think through its strategy. 2 practices can improve meetings. One is for the group to brainstorm the qualities it wants in its meetings, prioritize the list, hand it out to everyone, refer to it periodically during the meeting, and use it to assess the meeting afterward. See Appendix 2 for an example. Midway in a fast-moving meeting, we can suggest a few minutes for quiet reflection. Another practice to improve meetings is to appoint a productivity observer who does not participate, but focuses just on the group process and comments at the conclusion. Issues might be overemphasis on one part of the meeting to the detriment of others, inadequate preparation by leaders, thinking not elicited from some, divergent understanding of goals, confusing procedures, inadequate information for the task at hand, relative significance of issues, contributions too lengthy, lack of common purpose, or being too formal or informal. Afterward, the group can listen to the observer's feedback and discuss its implications. Most people want to contribute better despite their reactions and need a way to bring better practices to their attention. Expecting comments from a productivity observer or a group debrief reminds them. A group succeeds better when its activity matches its phase of consolidation. Emerging from a random crowd, it is first oriented. Connecting with each other, people unite around a common frame of reference. They might respond to an announcement, attend a lecture, and recognize a mutual interest. We want to learn the main issues for people in our neighborhood. Once oriented, the group next is collected, committed to certain ideas and expressing them personally. They begin to think as we, with a purpose beyond their personal one. Let's do a door-to-door survey. The group then becomes organized. People acquire skills, adopt the group standards, plan the actions that carry out the purpose, accept personal roles, and rely on each other to fulfill their part. Your team takes 10th Street and we'll do 11th. Finally, the group is concerted, oriented and organized into roles. People await a signal to begin. We meet at 9 a.m. at the park to start off together. Orchestras, drill teams, and sports teams are concerted. To be effective, we match the group's phase of development with the activity we ask it to do. An organized group can hone an action plan and gather enthusiasm for a campaign. A concerted group responds to a signal to begin, and an orienting group needs more familiarity among members and interest in a need. As their group develops through these stages, people increasingly unite their ideas. They overcome conflicts, generate personal warmth, understand and align with the standards of the group, and participate in its activity. Internal qualities. Leaders' style affects group activities. While their central role is meeting others' needs, some leaders may assert prerogatives, assume they can misuse their influence and refuse others' requests for change, like expecting to drive a car without family prompting. Yet riders can complain when safety or comfort are threatened. Group members likewise can ask for changes affecting their mission, and leaders are obliged to assimilate their feedback. A critical leader characteristic is called moderate executive function. People resist arbitrary orders, being jerked about with conflicting directions, or watching leaders pull rank. Rather than being too tight or loose about rules, norms, roles, goals, and assignments, moderate control has better outcomes. We take account of people's feelings about their assignment, are flexible about meeting personal needs, give feedback gracefully, make requests courteously, and understand when circumstances inhibit people from fulfilling agreements. We compensate for role-based distinctions by associating in all other ways as equals, and by bringing management activities onto a common planning team. High caring with moderate emotion is important for group health, expressed through friendships, gestures of affection and welcome, positive feedback, praise, encouragement, and looking out for others' practical needs. Shared laughter tends to indicate good feelings and group strength, while emotional neutrality is depressing. Caring differs from emotional display. Both positive and negative extremes of emotion can stress a group, while moderate expression sustains comfortable goodwill. Emotions influence more through accepting and welcoming them than by generating them artificially. A powerful driver of group activities, they benefit everyone when linked to the group's purpose, but may be inhibited due to self-consciousness. Ailing groups typically lack moderate feelings. Group members may use ineffective communications and fail to express their concerns openly. Protecting feelings can interfere with truth-telling, and trust remains low as people shrink from others' hurtful comments. While reopening expression of feelings contributes to group health, an upbeat tone is essential when resolving blame and suppressed hostility. Positives must buffer the influence of the negatives or the group fractures. Continuing to work through issues encourages genuineness and truth. A group that, quote, goes through some chaos together, unquote, often generates deeper bonds. When individuals avoid resolving conflicts, we can discuss with them how they value the group's aims, their reasons for participating, and their care for other members. An organization survives by developing a body of wisdom that enables it to avert threats to its existence, so that retaining and passing on this knowledge deserves thought. The effort should be deliberate, because it is hard to convey to others even what we know well. Many ideas are transmitted spontaneously as people spend time together in planning and activities, but we can also save a campaign's learning with an assessment bin holding binders, brochures, articles, minutes, recordings, and people's self-evaluations. Leaders can document their observations about handling human elements of perception and emotion. Approaching a similar challenge months later, in a couple hours, a new person can absorb prior lessons. People's esteem for the knowledge and values of the group helps cement their commitment to it. Successful groups believe there is always more to learn.